Evaluation question 7. Looking back at your preliminary task, what do you feel you have learned in progression from it to the full product? First of all, I'm going to talk about the research and planning in our preliminary task and how that differed from our thriller. In our preliminary task, we had no planning documents such as a shot list or a storyboard. We entered it just having a few ideas about shots that we wanted to involve. The only elements we really focused on were 180-degree rule, match on action, shot reverse shot, and these weren't completely correct. We broke the 180-degree rule a few times, which probably confused audiences. In our thriller, well, that was completely different because we spent a lot of time researching and developing our ideas through mood boards to shot lists and detailed storyboards illustrated, giving us the actual visual idea of what our scene was going to look like. Our storyboard in our thriller really gave us quite a good idea about proxemics and how that affected, and we also could draw out the camera angles. We focused really hard on the mise-en-scène in our thriller compared to our preliminary task. So we looked into all the different lighting, costume, acting, makeup and settings they used. So compared to our preliminary task, which was filmed in a school, which wasn't relevant to the script, we came up with a setting of a fortress castle for our thriller because we thought it would create more meaning. We discussed setting, iconography, and all sorts about how protagonist and antagonist was dressed and how that was to create meaning in our thriller. In post-production, we learned a lot. We developed so much during classes between preliminary task where we knew basic skills such as putting a clip together, but that's about all. But in post-production for our thriller, we didn't just edit for narrative sense, we edited for meaning. By this I mean for a moment of excitement and a moment of rush of adrenaline, we increased edit speed, for example, and this created the atmosphere we wanted. We used After Effects to create titles in our thriller, and we learned these skills such as how to put an effect for the entrance and exit of our titles. We also used Sound Booth to create Foley sounds that we recorded ourselves to add to the atmosphere in our thriller, and Audacity to record extra sounds such as the sound of a heartbeat. In our preliminary task, we didn't think about any of this, so the meaning just wasn't constructed. I think teamwork as a whole improved so much from prelim to main task. So at the start we were all we didn't know each other, so that's quite normally the case when it comes to filming a professional film. But we didn't have the confidence back then to really speak and say what each of us individually wanted from it. So our cooperation wasn't as high as in our main task. We really discussed in detail about what each of us wanted to do and how it would affect our outcome of our thriller, and that really helped having the confidence to speak. In the preliminary task, I wasn't confident at directing our actors. By this I mean I didn't tell them what I wanted them to do or how they would react as their character. But for thriller, I really developed confidence and I was able to direct them and say exactly how the character should be feeling at this moment and what emotions they should portray. So the acting in a thriller is 1,000 times better, not only because we had a really good actor, but because we actually instructed and made the actor feel comfortable